What is up, Nerf Nation? I'm Naptown Nerf, and this is an unboxing and review of the Jet ceda Model S. All right, first off, I just want to say a huge thank you to evike.com for sending me this awesome care package. They sent me this blaster with quite a few extra goodies, and I did a video on that on my Patreon channel, so if you want to check out the unboxing, definitely support me on Patreon. But this blaster, guys, I've been looking forward to for a while now. So I've obviously reviewed the ceda with the Omni kit before on the channel, the original ceda. If you want to check that out, click the link above. That one shot both half and full length darts. Not super great, to be honest. Those internals were definitely not my favorite, but I've done some pretty awesome things with the blaster. If you've seen my Galaxy ceda up on the wall here, it has some pretty sweet internals in it now, but this comes stock with an alpha kit installed, and it's only $89 on evike.com. That's pretty darn impressive in my opinion, and we'll see what kind of performance this is getting, but I'm told it should get around 150 FPS. But actually the blaster is already out of the box with some extra goodies on it from Evike that they sent along, which is really cool. So can't wait to check this thing out. This blaster also comes in both red and in blue, black and red and black and blue to be specific. So that's really cool. So you can get whichever color you like. So that's pretty awesome. And obviously this is a pretty direct competitor to the Dart Zone Pro. Dart Zone Pro came after this, by the way. They may have stolen a few ideas from Jet and from Worker, but we'll get to that actually in a video coming up very soon when I did a little mod of my Dart Zone Pro, but stay tuned for that. Nevertheless, let's crack this thing open and see what we got inside. All right, guys, so I'm not gonna bore you with the unboxing because there's no blaster in the box. I'm just gonna show you what comes in the box and what doesn't come in the box. So this is the blaster, but you will not get this sight or this stock unless you purchase it from Evike separately. So I will put links to all these things also in the description box, including the blaster, obviously. So if you do want to purchase these things, you can feel free to follow those links and do so. But we get our blaster that comes with this stock, which this stock, if it's the same as the stock before, which it looks to be exactly the same except for one little difference, but I'll go over that in a second, was not the greatest, has some play in it, so I highly recommend just switching it out for another stock like this that fits on a buffer tube, which is one of the awesome things about this blaster. I mean, they were the first ones to do this, and then Dart Zone stole it from them, which honestly, steal it, because I mean, it's a great addition. If I can get this back on here, there we go. So that's a really cool stock that they sent along with it. And it has obviously lots of adjustments that you can make so it will fit whatever size person you are perfectly. But it's very, very sturdy. It's not going to collapse or go anywhere. We do get 15 half-length darts that are nipple tip darts. Evike also sells refill packs. So I think, what is there, 100 or so in here? It says 100. So they sent these along, which is awesome. So you can buy refill darts, which is really cool, or you can buy any other sort of half-length dart for the most part. Should work just fine in this blaster. We'll test out Worker darts along with these. And then obviously we get some instructions, so if you have any questions on how this blaster works, if you didn't learn them from this video, there's some instructions for you. So for the sake of the review, I will go ahead and take this off and put on the stock. The stock. So this will be the one that comes with the blaster. And it's just not as ergonomic and just not as nice, to be honest. But obviously, you know, it is better than nothing. But it does have play to it, so there is some play. But it's still not going to collapse. Like, it's still strong and sturdy. But there's just a little play and could rattle around a little bit if you're running around. One thing that is really awesome that they changed about this blaster, in my opinion, is we now have a matte finish. The gloss finish I never really cared for too much. It was a little too shiny, but this is really nice. I really like it a lot. This is the red version. The blue version, I believe, is also a matte finish with the ceda Model S, so that's really cool. So if you're not aware, the Model S does have the Alpha Kit installed, which is a kit that only shoots half-length darts. So this does not shoot full-length darts in this form. If you want something that shoots full-length darts, you either need to mod the internals to do so, like probably not this kit, but make a brass breech or something, or you need to purchase the Omni kit. But this is pump action, so we will pull back. That's how you prime your blaster. This trigger right here is actually how you want to release this magazine. If you want to release the adapter, this is how you do that. So that adapter is what makes it go from a full-length blaster to a half-length blaster, but the pusher will not push in full-length darts. So I just want to be clear about that. One thing I also want to note is this will come with the ZRO, or Zero, I believe is how they pronounce it, rifled barrel, which is like a scar barrel. So it will actually put spin on the dart and make your darts fly even more accurately. So that is really cool. Obviously we have a full Picatinny rail on top here, so you can put sights like this on top of here, or flip up sights, or anything that will go on a Picatinny rail can go up here. So that's really awesome. So you do have a sling point back here, so if you want to sling your blaster, you can do so right there. And we also have a trigger lock right here, so if we push this forward right there, you cannot pull your trigger. If you push this back here, you can pull your trigger. So it's on both sides, so you push this way to lock it, and then you push on this side to unlock it. So if you're having trouble pulling your trigger, that may be the reason why. May have gotten into the lock position, so that's good to note. So you're probably wondering why it has 2 pins here. Why does a blaster need pins? Well, I'm gonna show you here in just a second. We're gonna go ahead and remove this magazine real quick. And then this thing actually comes apart for easy maintenance or spring changes or anything that you may need to do inside your blaster, and that makes it really modder friendly and super awesome. So we need to remove these 2 guys right here on each side of the bolt sled, and then we'll pull our pins, and that's it. Now we can just slide it apart and we can access the internals. And this is just super awesome and makes it really easy to be able to do maintenance on your blaster and swap out springs to a bigger or higher spring load or lower spring load, what have you. And I honestly didn't think that this would have been something I would have used when I first bought my ceda, but I use it all the time. It's really convenient, I'll be quite honest. It makes it really easy to mod your blaster. It makes it really easy to tweak it if you don't like something. It's just super easy to get in and out of, and I think it's an awesome idea and awesome design. So we'll go ahead and I'll show you how you can remove everything in here. You just have to pry apart just slightly this part right here, and there's actually a warning sign on top of this plunger tube. It says always lock the trigger for safety before reassembling. So the trigger lock I just told you about. Do not remove if plunger rod is not in the forward position. So don't remove this if the blaster is primed. Don't do that, that'd be a bad idea. And then it says this side up during reassembly, which is really important because there is only one way up to this plunger tube, and it is something that has confused me at times when putting my ceda back together because it isn't very obvious which side is up. So it's really awesome actually that they put that on there. I think that's a good idea. So I'll go ahead and remove the plunger assembly real fast to show you how that's done. You just have to spread these guys apart a little bit and it should come right out. So this is under some pre-compression, so make sure you're kind of got your fingers there ready to hold this guy in. But there it comes right out. There's our spring. So that's pretty cool. So you could just throw in a different spring if you want to do that. So when you reassemble it, you just want to make sure everything gets back into the correct slots. So your bolt sled needs to go in the small slots there. And then your plunger tube, obviously this side up and in the slots that are for it. And then you should just pull back and it should lock in with those 2 tabs. So that's pretty sweet. Let's go ahead and put this thing back together and put some darts downrange. All right, one thing I want to show you guys before we start the chronograph readings is how good this seal is. Pretty darn good. All right, you guys, so obviously we're going to be burying some elements today to get you this chronograph data because it's just been crappy outside. It rained the last 2 days and now it's snowing, so I guess snow's better than rain. But the videos don't stop and we'll see what we can get with this guy. We'll start out with the Jet darts in the Katana Mag, and if you want more information about this magazine that Jet makes, I did a review on that already, so click the link above for that. But there also is something called the Talon Mag, and this will not work in this adapter. It has its own proprietary adapter, or you can get 3D printed ones that can fit both, which are pretty awesome. But these are made by Worker. They're two different half-length dart magazines, both very good and have pluses and minuses to each. So yeah, we'll go ahead and try some Worker darts also, and some Dart Zone Pro darts. So here we go. Let's send it. 146, 148, 152, 121, that one just sounded weird. 126, 126, 127. All right. I think actually the darts that came with the blaster performed worse than the ones that were in the can, because I used a little bit of both. Of ones that were in that 100 pack seem to be better darts than the ones that actually come with the blaster. So that's something to note. But we'll go ahead and try the Talon Mag with the Worker and Dart Zone Pro darts. Worker darts first. These are Gen 2, not Gen 3. 133, 124, 128, 119, 113, and now Dart Zone Pro darts. 158, 155, 158, 156, and 156. All right, let's get out of the cold and go back inside, and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, you guys, so I think the ceda Model S is pretty darn sweet. Performance was a little inconsistent, but I don't think that was the blaster. I definitely think that was the darts and the weather. I actually shot some Worker darts off camera and was getting in the mid 140s. So it was a little strange that the ones I shot on camera didn't anywhere get close to that, but those darts obviously can be a little inconsistent at times, and then the weather probably obviously didn't help anything. But the Jet darts seemed to do well as long as they were the ones out of here, but the ones that I shot that came with the blaster definitely did not perform as well. So I'm wondering if there's some inconsistencies in manufacturing there. But good to note that the ones that they sell in the, in the packs on e-bike do perform pretty well. So if you like that nipple tip design, those are a decent option for this blaster. But obviously we are getting numbers upwards of 150 FPS, even over that with those Dart Zone Pro darts, which are obviously the highest quality and best dart. I highly recommend those darts. They are really, really good. But it's nice that all darts work in this system. Well, all darts that aren't like a waffle tip, anything that'll work out of a steel breech system should work in this blaster just fine. All darts worked, well, at least they fired out of the blaster. Obviously, those Dart Zone Pro darts flew a lot further than the others, but all performed pretty well. I would recommend upgrading your stock, and e-bike obviously has a selection of stocks that you could purchase that will go on this buffer tube to upgrade that. I've upgraded that on every ceda that I own, and I'm glad I did so, and that's the whole point of this buffer tube design. The red dot sight they sent along was pretty sweet. I did test that out off camera. It's your pretty typical, red dot sight. Has red dot and green dot on there and a couple different settings, so that's pretty cool. If you're interested in that, the link will be in the description box. The other thing that I still have a little bit of an issue with is the grip here for priming. It is a little slick. I wish the design was a little bit different, had something back here to support your hand, but Jet does have a file on Thingiverse that you can download for free and print yourself. If you want to upgrade that, I have it on my ceda back here. So that is a useful tool that Jet does offer for some of their blasters as upgraded things that you can print and install. So that's pretty awesome. But nevertheless, I think the blaster looks awesome. I really love this matte color. I think that is a great change from the original, and I also love the black over the original white. But e-bike has both versions of this with the Alpha Kit and the Omni Kit, but I highly recommend going with this version. I think it's only $20 more, $89, and the internals are actually good. Omni Kit internals, I just don't really recommend, to be honest. But this blaster, I think, is a super solid option for a person that isn't really into opening up blasters necessarily, but if you aren't, this is a blaster that would be very easy to get into that, because it's very easy to open this thing up and to check out the internals and then to put back together as I showed. So, and it's just easy to do standard maintenance, which I think is super important on all war-worthy Springer primaries. You have to do maintenance. You have to be able to open it up, re-lubricate things, you know, change out springs sometimes if they wear down, or you just want to change the spring load to change performance. So this is a great blaster, and if you're in the market for a primary for your local wars, I think this is a good option, just assuming that they do allow half-length darts, and I'm not sure why any club would not allow half-length darts. And at the 150 FPS that this thing is getting up to, I think is the perfect cap, actually, because that's our lower cap for our wars, and I think that's a pretty standard cap for a lot of clubs. So I think that's a really nice level there. If you want a little more performance, you could put in a little beefier spring, and I'm sure you could get that along with maybe a longer barrel. So yeah, awesome blaster. Thank you so much to e-bike for sending this along for review, along with the extra goodies. They also sent along a hat with some pretty sweet patches. They have probably a pretty awesome patch collection. I'll have to go check that out to add to my patch wall, but I'll be adding these 3 to the wall. But it's pretty cool that they sent along a hat that will that I could put patches on, so I can even put my own Naptown Nerf Club patch or Naptown Nerf patch on there. So if you guys don't have those patches, those are always in the description box. You can find those at Blaster Core. Highly recommend picking one up. They're only $5, and the proceeds go to help out the channel and the club. So they also sent along some pretty sweet aluminum targets that I didn't get to incorporate into this video because of the weather, but can't wait to test these out and use them maybe in other videos. But they're really, really cool. And by the way, this blaster is accurate enough to shoot at targets this small and to use a sight like this. So keep that in mind. I didn't really get to test out accuracy because of the weather, but it is a very accurate system, especially with that 0 barrel that it has on the end of there. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. Please smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Ring the bell for notifications. And as always, peace out.